Ladies and gentlemen, on the mic, Mike King back. We're talking on Good Friends. So we got a whole group of them here. So Monica's here, Coach is here, and they also brought one of the supporters of my brother's keeper. We're going to talk to. He's a real estate realtor to the stars, right there. He's going to drop some nuggets of knowledge on us. All righty, man. My brother's keeper. Let's talk about that. So, to me, it seems like you're the one that's making the
Well,
magic happen.
well,
Well,
yeah, no, I give my husband all the credit because he's the one that started the organization. What my role was when I came here to Richmond was knowing that he needed to have a media presence and to be on the media radar.
and your media savvy. Yes, yeah. You
Right.
understand.
And I understand how that works, having been on the other side, being a journalist. So we weren't the people, we always had the marketing people coming to us to get us to, write about them. So I knew how that worked. And I knew that if he had a compelling story,
Yeah, he is. So he had stores.
which media is always interested in a compelling story. So I knew that if we could get that story out there, we could use that to elevate the organization, to get some of the resources and things that he needed to continue to grow my brother's keeper to where it is today. So that was just my small role of coming in and saying, that you have to realize that this story needs to be told.
And the
You
story
know,
is being told because you guys are changing people's lives. When Coach was here a couple of weeks ago, they see you guys as a couple. They maybe have never seen the power couple like you guys here who are doing. Coach is out there visionary, making the moves and doing the things, and here you are making sure that the dots are connected, and you're doing. Why you got that look on your face like that? Uh, that's what you do. Come
Yes,
on,
it
man.
is. Come on.
That's
Yes,
what
it
it is.
is.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And that is your thing. And all organizations that are successful needs that right there. They had a visionary person who's out there making moves, doing all those things. But sometimes no, a lot of times you need just more than that. Talk about that when you see organizations sometimes that they lack that part of it because they got a great mission, they got a great message, but sometimes that the stuff that they need really to get over the hump because somebody needs their services,
right, right,
somebody needs their help,
right.
but they got to be good enough and sturdy enough to be able to stand the test of time. When I first got here, 2016, you guys gave me the Manny. That's a lifetime ago. I mean, we've gone through a whole bunch, and then the
A
pandemic
lot,
shut
yeah.
everything. I remember you guys on Hall Street, you guys had all the suits and all that. And when we talked to Coach a couple weeks ago, that goes
Yeah,
away.
that
You
way
now we got to change,
by the wayside.
and you
Yeah,
guys changed.
yeah, you have to adjust and adapt for the times and for the situation. And of course, things happen in terms of when we were on Wall Street, that building was sold, and so we had to move. We didn't necessarily have the space for the suits like we did on Hall Street, and to be able to do that program the way that we did, which was very successful at the time that we were doing it, and we were very happy and very, proud about that. But we had to pivot like a lot of places do, and a lot of people do, organizations do, and so we were able to pivot when COVID hit. We were able to pivot to like a lot of places doing the Zoom meetings, and we found that that actually worked to our advantage because we could get those guys that would not necessarily be able to come into an office situation or conference room to do those kind of meetings. So we're able to do it virtually, and it's worked out in terms of being able to have uh, guys that are from outside of the Richmond area.
It's
So we have
extended
guys
your
from, right,
reach.
it's extended our reach to other states and other regions of Virginia, and then also areas outside of Virginia to other states.
Okay, so on the mic, Mike, when I talk about how when I look at organization, I spend a lot of time in the military, and so they say what's the number one's job on a team, the leader. His job is to take care of the team. What's the number two's job? To look at the leader because he's not looking at himself because he's looking at the team, taking care of the team. So that's your position. Coach is out there. I know the phone blowing up, people are calling, and he is doing all those things. Somebody got to watch him
Right,
because and tell him because I always say, who takes care of the caregiver? The caregiver won't stop. They don't know to stop. Somebody has to force them and have that hard conversation, like, yo, you got to chill for a little bit. That's why I never understood the thing about putting a mask on first. I'm like, yo, you don't, yo, I see somebody who's hurting. Let me put the mask on them. Well, if you fall out,
then who's gonna?
exactly.
Right.
So talk a little bit about watching, looking at that part from a team standpoint, and then also we always talk about changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. So money got to
No, it's not.
change hands
No, it's not.
somewhere. So let's talk about some of the people who support you, my brother's keeper, and how you guys make those relationships work.
Well, as you say, my husband, coach. I don't call him coach.
You don't call
I
him
don't
coach?
no,
So when you're in the house, excuse me, coach. So no, I was wondering. I don't know. Okay.
I usually call him
You think though Michelle calls Barack Mr.
Mr.
President?
President. No,
I don't think it works. No, I don't think it works like that. No. I'm not an expert, but I'm going down the road of
I think that would be a safe bet.
yeah, that's the one you can take to the bank all
Yeah.
day.
Yes, yes. But no, my husband is the really driving force. And so he will be from the time that he gets up until, you have to say, you're still there working, don't you want to rest? Don't you want to take a break? Because he is so very passionate about what he does. And he sees the need, the necessity for what he does. And of course, he's doing this because he knows that when he looks at the young men that come into the program, in a lot of ways, he's seeing himself in that, and there weren't those resources and things to help him.
There wasn't a him.
No, there wasn't a him for him. So now he's able to be that for other people. And that's what drives him. But as you say, once your tank is empty, you can't help anyone else. And so it's very important. Self-care is very important so that you can continue to do the mission, long term. And so I think that he's gotten to the point now where he realizes that where he's taking better care of himself, eating better.
Cause
Trying
I
to
told him, I
stretch.
said, I'm like, yo, man, you've been. I was all
Yeah,
sudden, I'm like holding mine in when I see him. Like, yo, what you doing?
yeah, it slimmed down a lot, and that's something that I tried when I first got here. That I try to emphasize it, but everybody comes to that. It's like with anything else, comes to it in their own time, in their own
You can't force
way.
people
You
to get
can't
there.
force people. My son is the same way. You know, and when he realized that, he came to that realization. Now he's at the gym for 5 times a week. He's like, and I'll ask him, "Do you want this?" I had some kind of juice or something. And he's like, read the label, how much sugar's in it. I said, well,
Yeah.
he's like, no, you can take that with you. I don't want that. It's too much sugar. So I'm like, what? So my husband's got to that point too. He's like, well, you shouldn't really be eating that.
And then
Which I was the person that used to say that to him, and now he's saying that to me. But in terms of my brother's keeper, what I feel like my role is, and what um, all of our roles are, aside from him, is just to provide that support and whatever resources and talents that we bring to the table um, to support that mission. So with me, it was my media background. It was knowing the importance of trying to get him on TV, to get him on the radio, to get him in the local publications, so that because I knew that story once it was told would resonate with people. People would connect to that. People would want to be part of that in whatever way that they could, whether it was volunteering or it was to write a check or it was to make a donation when we were doing the Suits for Success. I mean, when we did Suits for Success, we weren't getting junk, we were getting
And they were nice. So they was
yes,
good. They was
we
good
were
stuff.
getting like bankers and lawyers and people like that would donate, to us. We people, I don't know if the young men realized the level of um suits that they were getting, the quality of the suits,
Let
that
me
they
ask
were
you,
getting.
so when Coach was here talking before, he talked about like mothers and parents talking about kids and their sons and the graduation and stuff like that. He's doing it in real time. When you're standing back watching him do his thing, what's that feel like when you're talking about changing the course of people's lives? Now he's doing it, he's just in the middle of it.
Right.
But you're standing back watching the interaction, seeing how this whole thing is playing out. These guys, you see when they come in to the point when they become part of the team. What's that like?
Well, for me, from my vantage
Because you're a
point,
journalist.
when he's
You're
when
taking
he's
notes.
telling me these things, and of course, I believe everybody has a story to tell, and everybody should tell their story, tell their truth. Um, and when I'm looking at it, of course, I'm filtering it through my lens of being connected to him first, and what a blessing it is to be able to bless other people, and to be able to change
Mm,
their lives. And I'm looking at it like, man, that is just truly to know your calling and to be, walking in it and experiencing it, what a blessing that is, because some people go their entire lives
and never find
and
it.
they never find it. They're always searching. um it's like the U2 song, still haven't found what I'm looking for, um, from Joshua Tree.
If somebody had told me about that I would be doing this 10 years ago, I would have they were a lunatic. There's no way. I don't talk to people I don't know, and that's where I wear my name on everything. So I don't have to do that. I don't have to work rooms. I don't go to those networking things. It's brutal. I sit in the car like, okay, how many people I can go in here and talk to before I can leave? Because that's not my thing. But I fell into this thing in the radio, and next thing you know, I'm talking, and now it doesn't matter. My mother and father, my mother's just like, you used to be a preacher. My sister's a preacher, my cousins are. I'm like, ain't me. But now here I am opening the microphone up and have found a way that people can tell their story. So it's always great when you come in. Okay, so you didn't come by yourself today. So I'm willing to get that little hallmark. This ain't no Jerry Maguire crying stuff here. Now, it is good. Okay, so you brought somebody with you.
Yes.
Okay, who'd you bring?
Okay. I'm gonna have my husband introduce Frank, because I don't
Okay,
know all the
so
Franks
you
and
want to switch? You
Franco.
want to switch seats?
Yeah,
Frank,
you
come
gonna
on
bring
in.
Frank
All
over?
right, these kids is one of the supporters. All right, Monica, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
All righty,
I
it is.
enjoyed it.
Yes, it was, that wasn't
You know
hard.
how we do.
Yeah, exactly. On the mic, Mike, we're here. My brother's keeper. The team is in the house. They're switching up seats. That's what we do here. This isn't, some real big operation with this. Is just family coming in, they sitting down. Welcome to the program. Oh, so he didn't came with a car. Oh Lord, man, he didn't came with the belt. He came with the belt. All right, so wait a second. If you didn't came with the belt, coach, the man came with the belt. Okay, that's what happened when a man walk around with the belt. That's what it says. Because, all right, so welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Frank Rustin. I'm a real estate broker. I also
I've heard of you.
have you really?
Yeah. So I do work with Nicole Reed, but I've heard she does a lot in the Chester area. I've heard your name in the real estate. You've been selling real estate forever, haven't you?
35 years.
Okay, yes, sir.
Almost 40. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that's why you walk around with the champ's belt.
Well, I work on the champs belt because it's all about serving people, man. So you got to serve people. You got to be a champ to serve people.
Okay.
You got to be a people's champ. That's what
Hey, I'm from Philly. You know it. Yeah. You know it.
Should be someone else.
Hey, you know what? You said it. Hold on a second. Richmond.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, but keep moving forward. This is the Italian style. See the one in Philly. The RBA. I will check out my man,
There you go.
like King Biz on ESPN.
All right, folks. I'm trying to keep it together.
Okay, I'm going. All
Yeah.
right.
That- so we got the chamber of real estate. Well, okay, what you do before you sold real estate?
Before I sold real estate, I used to work for H. Robbins, a pharmaceutical technician.
You were okay.
I worked for H. Robbins, and then I'm a martial artist, been a martial
Oh,
arts.
you look like one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like somebody who be out there chopping stuff
Yeah.
down. All right, so really,
But also I was in the Marine Corps as well.
you look.
There you go. I know that was gonna react.
Hoorah. So when I told you I've been in the army for a long time, you was not impressed. You weren't impressed. I'm like, all right, okay, somebody had to do it. Okay, so yeah, once a jarhead, always one.
Yeah,
But
I
we-
hear you
we-
coming.
yes, but there's a certain level of respect that
Yes.
people have with the Corps,
Yes.
and that is, you know, it is order.
It is order.
And a person could have been in the army for 30 years, and they were in the army. Your person, they was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and they 99 years old. They still Marine.
Once Marine, always Marine, never
And
retire. You know that's
never-
right.
You were always that right there. So, what was it about the real estate game that you went into it and you're like, okay, I can do this thing?
Well, what happened, I had experience with an unprofessional agent. I was a young guy, went to sell my own home. Somebody recommended a young lady to come out and sell, and she did a poor job, didn't show up on time, didn't return phone calls. And I said I would come in this business, bring some integrity back and look out for my people, everybody.
35 years later.
35 years later, here I am today.
All right. So, when you were doing it, when did you know you could make a living? I can do this thing.
You know, that's a good question. 'Cause I was working Age Rounds for 18 years, and 6 of those 18 years I was working as a part-time agent. And
Oh, okay.
yes, and when my department shut down, then I had no other choice. So I wanted to real estate full time, but got my severance package, pay some bills off. I'm gonna do this full time and believe that I can do it.
Okay.
You gotta have the
You're
faith.
believing you're doing it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people everybody start off believing they could do it.
And
And
a lot
then
of people
you
fail.
You see exactly. You see him fall. What happened to Bill? Hey, well, you know,
And that
Bill went
happens.
and got a job. It wasn't that was his thing. So you're selling real estate. When did you know I can do this?
When I got my first check.
That's a beautiful.
I'm getting paid to do this. I'm doing something I love doing, you know, and I'm doing something I'm committed to and dedicated to. And once I started receiving those checks by serving people and serving them well, don't do a lot of advertisement now. I mean, now I do because I'm branding, you know, but back then it was just word of mouth. And once you get word of mouth, people talk about how you serve and they make sure they call you.
I mean, what is a real estate agent with their pictures on everything, on the wrapping on the cars, every car got your picture. What is it with y'all?
They got to see who you are. They got to see a smiling face. They got to know that you are somebody they can trust.
Okay, my real
But there
estate.
again, you know, trust is something that has to be developed.
Okay.
And you get a person to like you and trust you based upon the first meeting, then you can help lead in the direction they want to go.
All right. So you're out there selling real estate. What is it about the nonprofit world that all of a sudden you found groups or causes to get behind?
Nonprofit organization will pay. And working with Coach, you know, his organization I believe in because it touched my heart. It touched my spirit because I didn't have a father in my life. I didn't have a father to lead me and guide me. And by becoming a facilitator and one of the directors of my brother's keeper, it taught me a lot of my shortcomings. And I want to give to somebody who's given to me that I know can help somebody who was just like me and to struggle with understanding how to be a father. I have 2 sons and 7 grandchildren, you know, but that was rough for my sons coming up because I ain't have no guy.
Yeah. You know, the one thing is I was rough with my sons too. That was just the time we came from,
Yes.
you know, and I was like the king of no. And I used to tell my sons, yo, I didn't invent this. I'm passing it along. The good, the bad, and whatever comes in between. I'm totally different with the grandkids. Now I'm the yes man.
Yes.
I don't have to be that tough guy no more, you know, beating them down with the stuff, keeping them in line. That wasn't me. But all of a sudden now with the grandkids, you start looking at I'm a different person than I was because I had to be that day in and day out, that guidance part. Like the whole
Yes.
Marine Corps, the military. We joke, but they take people from everywhere, put them together, and next thing you know, you can't stand where you are. You can't stand that person until you leave. Then all of a sudden, yo, whatever happened to Jonesy?
Mhm.
Because I hated that place. I met my wife 43 years ago in the army,
Oh,
and we were in camp, and so every place would be like, "Well, I used to love Mike. Stop! You hated that place when we were there." Oh yeah,
no flashback.
I did, yeah, but I thought that I liked it. Why? Because we were there in the moment. It provided guidance, instructors. Some of these guys, when we talked to Coach a couple weeks ago, had never seen that kind of guidance instructor like you're telling your sons. I didn't have it. So I'm just writing this playbook as I go along.
And that's how I did that. And once coach gave me some structure, it seemed to me a lot of people was drawn to me. So I got about 8, 10 guys that I mentor now, just in the process of them giving me a call and just need some advice.
Okay, so MIA, let's talk about men in action. You done came with the pamphlets. Let's talk about this. Oh, that's a dude up there doing it. You sure you ain't a model? Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Hickson brought a model up in and just happened to be a former Marine. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to just live my life right, but
And you are, that's what you hear.
thanks. Okay, let's talk about men in action. Oh,
Yes.
you know what, really quickly, man, we had Monica on to train journalists. Mine, I'm just like scattershot. What did you learn from what's the similarities between the martial arts and the Marine Corps?
Being focused. Being focused. You got to be focused because you can get hurt. You can injure somebody in martial arts. You got to focus your attention on what you need to do. But also, in focus, you have to pay attention. And then you have to listen because either way, it can be destructive if you don't have those qualities and understand how to listen.
Do you think people are listening better now than coaches over there shaking his head? Nah, man, people ain't listening.
Yeah.
What did COVID do? Did COVID help us listen better?
I think COVID had us to sit back and think about where we are at this present moment. What are we doing? How do we get here? And now, how do we adjust from COVID and pre-COVID and after COVID and how we live our life now? So I think it's changed quite a bit as far as just to understand how to listen and be understanding about who you are.
All right, Mr. Frank Rustin here. He is the real estate champion. He holding the belt. That's what the champ does. What is it when you put your business behind my brother's keeper and support them? Because I always say, changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. Money got to change hands somewhere. When you're making that commitment to help that organization,
I see when I'm making myself and putting myself in position to help this organization, I'm helping hundreds of people, just from that donation. I'm helping thousands of people who trust and believe in Coach. Also, I'm helping myself because I feel peace, because I'm giving something from my heart that I know is going to do good for other people. I don't do a lot of donation churches, and that I make a few donations, but something you believe in, the cause, and the individual, and the structure, who he is. You put your money where your mouth is and trust somebody, they can raise somebody else up.
all right, let's talk about the real estate side. How's the market right now?
The market is adjusting. Let me say it like that. Let me say the market is adjusting. In this business, when I got into this business, interest rate was 13.5%. Now it's 7, 5, whatever, sometimes 6. When the market changed, when it's 13% to 9%, everybody was celebrating. So it's just people just need to know how to adjust themselves based upon the market.
So people have to ride. So from the sales standpoint, people just have to ride it out. When people don't make it in real estate, what is the one thing that you kind of see and know the reason why they didn't make it?
They was not dedicated and committed because this is a hard business.
Yeah.
It can eat you and spit you out alive because you're dealing with people's lives, man. And some people depend upon you to make that big decisions for them, and you want to lead them in the right direction. If you don't, it can destroy somebody. I've been sharing tears with my clients who thought they could qualify, but something happens 3 days before closing, and they on the phone couldn't qualify. And I'm sitting there crying along with them, but there's nothing I can do because it's still with credit. You see, and people need to understand you need to do your homework. Call the champion up, and I will lead you in the right direction and make sure that you are set on the right path before you even looking at a house. Some agents ride you around and don't know if you qualify.
No, well, yeah, that that's true, and that was a time because people do see real estate as glamorous, but people don't see you guys the open houses, all of the prospecting, and all the things to make it work. Okay, so a person's getting ready to sell their house. Besides calling the real estate champ, what should they do to get it ready?
First of all, you want to get the house clean, uncluttered, get your yard cut, but most importantly, call somebody up so you know what you need to do before you even start. Know what you need to do. Call somebody up to say, listen, I'm thinking about selling my home. In fact, I got a client transaction coming up right now in Chesterfield. They did call me up, my past clients. She, 3 houses from me. She's calling me up, Frank, what I need to do. I'm about to put my house on the market. So call somebody who know what they're doing. And that way you're making sure you have success and your house will be sold.
All right, sir. What do you say to the people out there who is young Frank trying to sell her house on their own?
It's possible.
Whoa.
It is possible, but you got to know when somebody knock on your door who they are. You got to know when that person knocking on your door say, I want to see your home. Can they qualify? You know, so you open yourself up to things that you're not aware of because you're not professional. So you want to make sure what this person can do and can they do and say what they can do. Are they qualified? Do they have the money to do it? Do they have the credit to do it? Or just come and walk me through your house, see what you got?
And next thing you go out to Kroger,
There you go.
certain things missing
Certain things missing.
because you open your house
You
up
open your
to
house
someone.
up.
There you go. All right, so how can people find the people's champ out there, my real estate champ, the man with the belt? How can they find you?
Well, they go to my website, which is a real estate champion for you, the actual 4NU.com. Or you can give me a call, a shout out number, 804-339-2890, the real estate champion. I love what I do, and I do what I love, and give God all the glory for it.
How long you been the real estate champ? When did you come up with that?
I came up with that one, as you said.
I
That one.
just want to know. I mean, hey, that's a good one. When
No,
did you come
it
up with
is.
that?
I came up with that one about 4 years ago.
Was there one before that?
Was no one.
There was no one.
I
You
was
were,
just
you
a
were
real
just
estate
like-
broker.
you were just a real estate broker. Frank was out there selling houses.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, you thought about that and you're like,
I had a vision.
you had a vision. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, so wait a second. The man had a vision, and this is what happened. Let me hold up a second. Let me see.
God gave me a vision, Lord. He put me to
Okay.
the lights.
Alrighty, so the man had a vision, and he became the real estate champ.
The
That's
purpose, God gave me my purpose to be a champion.
All right, sir. This is the one hard journalistic question I got. Where'd you get the belt from? Like,
Well, as a martial artist, I've
Oh.
been out of tournaments.
okay, all right, okay, I got you.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So
So
that's where the belt came from. So I added the belt and dedication of martial arts to my dedication of real estate. And here I stand, the real estate champion as a martial arts and Marine.
okay, well, so that's where the swagger came from to started all this crazy. That's for sure. All right, so how long did it take before when you were made yourself? Like me, I'm the voice of RVA business. I laugh and chuckle. How long was it before you were snickering that all of a sudden you became my real estate champ?
I still do it today.
Oh, you're my king? Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm laughing. Yes.
But with that said, I'm about to we're producing a television show, 30-minute television show that could be on CW. And
I want to see that.
it's called My Real Estate Champion. I talked to John, that's the guy over there who was the ad manager over there. And we got 3 shows we done. We got 2 shows already done. And so once we do that, we're going to produce the show on CW. And that's coming up. So I'm just letting you know. And we will be interviewing lawyers.
John Stallard?
John, yeah.
Shout out to my man. I used to work at CW.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's it. So shout out to my man, John Stallard, Big Sexy.